In my social surrounding and also online, people are becoming more and more aware of how mindful I am trying to live my life. So recently I was asked about my opinion on this concept called lucky girl syndrome. I have never heard of this before, but I looked into it and it's a very girl-oriented thing. I'm a man, or I identify as a man, so we're gonna call this lucky boy syndrome. Let's get into it. Lucky girl or lucky boy syndrome goes hand in hand with manifestation, but it's a lot about your mindset and staying on track with everything you do. Now, first things first, in case you don't know, I have my very own approach to manifestation. The way I understood it, you are diagnosed with this lucky syndrome when you are so convinced that what you're manifesting or working towards will become true, that you're becoming aware of your worth, that you're good enough, that you're smart enough, that you're pretty enough, and just enough for everything you had your doubts about, which is great. I am convinced that we are all somewhat worthy of our desires and dreams, and I mean, life will do its job with either presenting it to you in reality or not. So when something like lucky boy or lucky girl syndrome comes up, and it's actually all about just having a healthy and motivated mindset, I think it's great, because it's a mindset that you practice that keeps you motivated and constantly reminds you that you are capable of achieving your dreams. So when you work hard, you get a lot of stuff done, and you really want to become the best possible version of yourself, that's when you know you have lucky boy syndrome. And with that realization of being good enough, which is what this lucky syndrome is, that awareness, comes attraction, because we are responsible for creating our own reality. And if we're convinced that all of our goals and dreams are or will become reality, the chances are much higher that that's the truth. Now, I don't know if you've heard of this, but someone once told me that the universe answers to everything we say with yes. Now, I mean, it's not that easy, but it does keep us motivated and on track. So let's say I go to the mirror every morning thinking I'm ugly. I'm actually gonna be ugly. But when I go to the mirror every morning telling myself I'm handsome, I'm beautiful, or whatever, even though I know I have my insecurities, it's gonna grow on me and I'm gonna flourish in that. And maybe my words might not affect the way I look, but they will affect my mental health and my confidence. And at the end of the day, that's the most important part. The only thing that truly slows us down or stops us completely is the perception of ourselves, because doubt sabotages our well-being. For example, if you shy away from certain opportunity because your inner dialogue tells you you're not good enough, you're not ready, you're not worthy, you're gonna start believing that. And trust me, life will give you the receipt for that, because that way you will never try anything. That would be the perfect example of how our mind created an obstacle that actually wasn't there. And that obstacle is insecurity and self-doubt. Back to lucky boy syndrome, detachment is very important as well. Again, like I said, this is very similar to manifestation. You just have to trust the process and not neglect it, but also don't obsess over what you want. For lucky boy syndrome, to me, there are two approaches that make it very clear what is what. The first approach is the unlucky approach. Whenever something goes wrong in your life, something doesn't go your way, it's always someone else's fault, the universe is after you, you're not good enough, and life keeps punishing you. That's what you keep telling yourself. So that's what you're affirming, and since you are responsible for your reality, that's the life you're creating. And that way you become stuck in something called the reality trap. You created your own glass ceiling, you think nothing is possible, you don't allow yourself to dream, you live your life in a little box, and you've kind of brainwashed yourself into being okay with that. It's pretty sad, and what's shocking is that I know a lot of people who live their life this way, and a lot of them are my age. You have to allow yourself to never stop dreaming and always be optimistic moving forward. Otherwise, you are completely limiting your mindset and your own potential. If you believe or tell yourself that certain things or everything will be difficult, they will be. Like I said, the universe answers to everything we say with yes, pretty much. Don't take that too serious. Of course, you also shouldn't be naive, so you have to find the right balance between the reality trap and not living in dreamland. Now, the other approach is the lucky boy approach, the lucky boy syndrome approach that we're striving for. Like I said, you don't have to be some manifestation expert or crystal guru to do this. You just have to always be optimistic and never stop believing in yourself. It's actually as easy as that. Don't ever question how realistic your goals or dreams are, because that's just gonna take the wind out of your sail. Maybe you know deep down that that exact outcome is a little unrealistic, but even if you end up somewhere on the way, that's probably good enough. When you have this lucky syndrome, you are much more inclined to chase opportunity, you have a healthy mindset, you look after yourself, you have higher confidence, much less self-doubt, and you don't shy away from giving everything that's thrown at you a go. Because what's the worst outcome? You fail. You weren't attached in the first place, so move on. Or at least you shouldn't have been attached, like I said. Disappointment comes from attachment to expectations. So detach from expectations. Probably very relatable example for a lot of you watching when it comes to comparing and contrasting the lucky and unlucky point of view is applying for jobs, stuff like modeling, acting. Try it out, send in your things, doesn't matter if you have schooling or not. What's the worst thing that can happen? Nothing, you don't get it. The unlucky approach wouldn't even send in their stuff because they don't believe in themselves. They already think they're not gonna get it. They don't have the right schooling, they're not good enough, so why would they even try? You see the contrast here? It is so easy and so dangerous to give into a mindset of lack, to think I'm not good enough. I still have to do this before doing that, I'm not ready. At the end of the day, it's just excuses and you're harming your self-esteem. I've spoken about the importance of consistency multiple times before, but here again, even if things don't work out in the beginning, keep going. If you have this positive lucky boy mindset, you don't need instant success or other people's validation because you feel fulfilled just being on that path, confident that you're on track towards your goal. I hope this makes a little more sense now. This was definitely an interesting concept to dive into. It's just about your mindset. And it really is very similar to manifestation. It's just more focusing on how you perceive life. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about this. I would be very interested to read through some of your approaches. In any given situation, always try to, take a breath, detach, and don't take things too serious. Thank you so much. See you guys soon and take care. Bye.